Hello, everybody. Hey, hi, hello. How's it going? Thanks for coming to hang out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for picking up the phone. Thanks for answering the call. Thanks for, getting on the horn. Happy day. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? Welcome back to another casual live stream, which is me. It's just us. Lot to talk about, lot to do, lot to dig into today. I think you might have seen the news, you might have seen the headlines. There's some stuff going down. Busy day. I have I just got out of some little meeting presentation, ISC2 chapter for Florida, and that was a lot of fun. And later today I have some more calls. So before the meeting marathon kicked off, I thought, you know what, we should hang out, we should banter, we should live stream. Because everybody's screaming. Everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Because, yep, you see it in the chat already. What are the thoughts? What are we thinking? How we doing? All the old little Claude Mythos preview, Project Glasswing. The end is nigh. Cybersecurity showdown. We're cooked, broski. Look, I don't know. I want to talk about it a little bit. I'll get to our AI doomsday, doom and gloom shenanigans. But let me roll through the old announcements, right? What we're kind of doing, what we're kind of up to, what's going on. And then, yeah, we'll probably spend a significant portion of our live stream hangout time together doom scrolling Twitter to see everybody's thoughts, everybody's hot take, and what the world is. Oh, maybe you missed it. What's the QR code on the shirt? This QR code is text. It does not take you to anywhere awful or malicious, but it does say, as soon as you scan it, malware installed successfully. So it's a little funny joke, a little funny hee hee ha ha. But good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out. Not malware, no. No. Vulnerabilities, exploits, cybersecurity. I think we've got a good couple of times that have passed. So let's get to computer screens, right? Let's goof off. Ta-da! We need a QR code to go to Just Hacking Training? Hell yeah. I'd love that. I'd love that. Do I have anything awful and horrendous in my Sublime text window? No, we're clear. We're good. Okay, excellent. Yeah, let's start to just jimmy-jammy about what is going on. What is going on? Okay, Sublime Text had to register for, took a quick second to figure that out. Let me tell you about the stuff that's hip-hop happening today, right? Today is Wednesday, April 8th? April 8th. April 8th. April 8th. April 8th. Video on YouTube with Joe Tidy to talk about his suite, Control Alt Chaos book. Big shout out, big love to Joe. Tomorrow, video on YouTube for massive AI powered phishing campaigns. Wow. I gotta make a thumbnail for that. I gotta get that work done. What else is happening? What else is going on? I hope you guys can hear the music, and I'm not just dancing like a fool on my own. Hey, thank you so much, Dirk Diggler 9949 for the follow. We're gonna get to the doom and gloom AI shenanigans in just a little bit, but I do want to roll through the stuff that's hip hop happening for me because I gotta let y'all know what's going on. I don't know if I'll make it to Omicron. Friday, Omicron? Omarchy? Oma goodness? Probably not. But over the weekend, I will be hanging out for Spectre Ops. And what is that? April 13th? As you all know, we just really appreciate their support. They're just genuinely the best people and super duper nice to give us some love and support for everything that we do on the channel. I think Spectre Ops Dash stream still brings us to the right people. The right folks. Pretty sure that gives us the right URL, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Big love to Spectre Ops again. They're just kind enough to help support the live stream without any added extra crapple commercial, shenanigans. I'm just grateful for all their support, so I'm giving them some love, and we'll be hanging out with them on Monday. How are you streaming in Twitch and you can't even see people in the YouTube stream? I see people in the YouTube stream. 413 is in 12 months? What are you talking about? You're freaking me out, Brage. 1025? That's April. That is April, right? Do I need to clarify that? Where did I get the shirt? This is an OG Huntress shirt for the old day job. Tuesday, April 14th. Huntress Tradecraft Tuesday. I will be running the show, hosting, putting that together with Ben. I'm awful. I'm hoping. I'm really great. I'm crossing my fingers we get to hang out with him and party in a little bit to get some cool folks to banter about Axios, NPM, supply chain threats, that risk, that showdown, that crazy shenanigans that went down. Wednesday next week actually looks clear, and we should put a little next on these. Next Tuesday. Next Thursday, keeping you up to date, keeping you in the loop, keeping you in the know what's going on. Next Thursday, I'm going to be hanging with my friends over at Push Security. Luke Jennings, wizard over there, absolute computer guru, cybersecurity person. What does the QR code redirect on the t-shirt? It just says malware successfully installed. It's just text. That's all. Don't you all worry. So yeah, big love to Push. Thank you so much for the follow, Jesse F. Moore. Nice. I I was gonna, play with the name, but I decided I shouldn't. Thank you so much for the follow and support. Very genuinely excited about Push Security webinar, and I appreciate you again and your grace letting me tell you about all the stuff that I'm up to. But they have a genuinely really cool show coming up, State of Browser Attacks, because the web browser is where a lot of wild stuff's going down. We'll talk a little bit about ClickFix. We'll talk a little bit about consent fix. We'll talk about session stealing, multi-factor bypasses, phishing campaigns, and a lot of malvertising, LinkedIn and Google ads. So really hyped up for that one. And they have much cooler people, much cooler than me after the fact. Troy Hunt will be joining the party. And then Matt, my good buddy Matt Johansson. I think he's streaming right now, and I felt bad because I think we're both going to be doom and gloom AI screaming. So I hope you tune in for The Browser is a New Battleground next Thursday, April 16th. I hope you make it. I hope you tune in. Push Security collab. Why the browser is the new battleground. So cool. Dang. Wow. Wowie zowie. I think that's the crash course. I think that's the synopsis. I think that's the summary for the moment. May timeline, May 12th, way out in the future. May 12th, I'll be hanging out with my friends and buddies over at Panther. Cool collab on that front. I don't know if I have a link yet. I don't think I do. Anyway, that's the gist. Yeah, packed schedule. Thank you, Sin Sasuke. I'm glad you acknowledge. I'm glad you know, We're doing our best. We're trying our hardest. We're doing our gosh dang darndest. With all the fun stuff. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Brage1025. See you later, dude. A lot going on. More videos, more content, more stuff. Yeah, let's talk about robots, right? Let's talk about the robots, how they're taking over the inner world, the internet and the world. Are we good on this? I think we're good on this. You guys know what I'm up to. Thank you so much for the follow, A0H, Azure0. Appreciate you. Yeah. Okay, let's Doomsday. Let's get FOMO, hype, sensationalism. Let's do it. Let me find the links that I wanted to show. Give me a sec. Oh, where did that go? Where did that go? Where did that go? There it is. Are you ready, everybody? Infected Research, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate the support. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about it. Cold Bash 90, thank you for the follow. What do y'all think of Project Glasswing? Have you seen this? How can you not? How can you not have seen this? Here's the thing. Thank you so much for the subscription, Sinsoxke. Do you only do malware things in home? I don't know what that means. In my house? Yeah. Everybody is screaming and shouting about this. Everybody's on the brink of collapse, on the conversation. And I know that you're probably not going to hear anything from me that you haven't already heard from everybody else. But maybe, I'm hoping there's a little bit of some tempered, grounded thinking here on the AI era and the changes in cybersecurity with all of this. I think Grant Collins had a great video out. Let's get to the interwebs to see what the rest of the world is thinking about. I don't know if I'm even signed into YouTube. We'll go through the Twitter hot takes too, with the amount of time that we have together, I'm hoping. But here's the skinny, right? Anthropic is crushing it, having their ups and downs of weird Claude usage. Thank you so much, May Mini Paint, for the subscription. Sometimes people, you know, just thank you so much, Texas Slav. I appreciate you. I'm going back and forth because I'm in Codex a lot, truth be told, because I think Claude fumbled a little bit. But I am pretty hyped about the new changes for the Claude desktop interface, and obviously Opus 4.6, Opus 4.5, of course, has been doing wild and crazy things. They have a little bit more clarity in the cybersecurity direction and being able to do some good things without being like told, no, you can't do that. So now the hot street. Thank you so much, KBTail_ for the follow. Now the hot word on the street is Mythos Preview. And I gotta keep us a little bit grounded here, I think, because it is not being released to the general public, from what I understand. The thought is that, goodness gracious, it has so much wild capability and power that it is kind of the spooky, scary sci-fi future. I don't know if people are, again, running around screaming like, oh my goodness, doomsday, the end is nigh kind of thing. But some people are. And I have not been able to see this. I have not been able to, actually interact with it, seeing is believing kind of thing. I cannot tell with the certain amount of hype cycle that is AI era, the world we're in right now. But I know via third party communications and people that say like, oh yeah, it's kind of legit. It's kind of, this is very real. This is absolutely the tidal wave that is coming. And I don't want to be dooms and glooms and that kind of scary thing. Thank you so much for the follow, Jay Radix and Zero Trace. I really appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. So what Anthropic is doing, as their ups and downs of, hey, not contracts with Department of War things, we give that to the other people do it, the other people get the open cloud, open stuff, that, worlds differently in the parallel threads running concurrently in the AI race of not just now one company that would have been the central conglomerate of artificial intelligence and how it will change the world, but now multiple labs, frontier labs, right? Multiple Anthropic, Google, Gemini, OpenAI. I'm sure there are others, right? I don't want to be discounting them, but the ones that people riff off the top of their head. So Anthropic is saying, and I don't want to be putting words in their mouth, I'm just trying to do my best to read what they're up to. They're saying Claude Mythos is going to change the game for realsies. And AI hype or not, what they're doing is they're getting the Avengers together to get AWS, Amazon, Apple, of course Anthropic in there, Broadcom, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Google, JP Morgan Chase, Linux Foundation, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Palo Alto Networks, never to secure the world's most critical software. Which is good. Which is cool. Big ups, thumbs up kind of thing, right? Because sure, if we have this doomsday, oh my goodness, the tidal wave is coming. Every single piece of technology that we've ever considered or even used, our cell phones, our desktop computers, Mac, Linux, Windows, I don't know, anything application-wise, etc. Yeah, you're absolutely going to shift the landscape for better or for worse. On the red offensive, cybercrime side and the blue defensive protect and secure the world side. Hexable Sex says, but I wanted to develop exploits so I can get my Lamborghini. Everybody needs their Lamborghini. That's the finish line for cybersecurity work. Then you exit and run. I'm teasing. I'm kidding. No Lambo for me by any means. Nuh-uh. So, what we're doing is watching the world unfold as to how this could be coming. And I don't want to sound all doom and I'm really genuinely torn in this because, right, model gets leaked in April. Haha, April. It's so, I can't tell. I don't want to speak with any certainty, and I can't see it or validate it myself. So what I will probably riff on and spin into for this conversation. Oh, actually, can we see this? Can we watch this video? Do I have sound working well within the VM? Give me a little second. Give me a quick double check if this works. Can you bear with me? Do we have sound? Thank you, Bob Friendly. Oh gosh. I think that's just more music and not the actual video. I think that's more music. Let me see if I can dance well enough with our audio mixer to try and get the sound going for us. Give me a sec. Give me a little bit. In other news, how y'all doing? What do I do with you? Where is VMware in my volume mixer? Huh? It's just not showing up. Dang it. Banger, dang it. All right, disregard video. We'll play it in an actual YouTube video or something. The communications, though, is that... Music. Has anyone seen... Oh, I'm going to get his name wrong. Nicholas... There it is. Nicholas Carlini. He had a talk at UnpromptedCon that I think everybody was cognizant of and tracking, where he at least showcased what I think was Flat Opus, what I think was not Mythos preview. Finding bugs in like OpenBSD, which is what he talks about here. 27-year-old bugs, vulnerabilities that we have not, been acknowledging and tracking. Logan is in the mix. Big shout out to Logan. So if Opus does this already, which it does well, sometimes, not always, but if you can guide it and steer it and well it does find vulnerabilities and create proof of concept exploit scripts. I have been using Claude and Opus for like incident response and analysis and investigation and triaging, certain however many alerts and detections that bubble up, and then correlating that across pertinent logs and artifacts to make and draw the better picture for, an actual incident or a breach on that blue team defender side. Not as much of the red team cyber offensive security finding bugs and vulnerabilities and exploiting them side. But Mythos is now God mode of that, or at least Iron Man suit leveling up even more so than what Opus would be able to do. But here, look at, you can see numbers and stats and graphs and things that are indicating, cool, wow, good. I don't think I need to try to drill this into your head of like, okay, this would be the game changer thing that at least people are screaming, shouting up, and hyping about. I'm going to have a pretty distilled, watered down take because I don't know yet. I can't. There's no way for us to, because it's not given us to the broader public, and I'm not in any of the cool people lists at the very beginning of this post. I'd love to be in the cool people list. If you're listening, if you're watching, Yol Anthropic, Logan, Nick, all the friends, hit me up, say the word. I'd love to be part of the party, but I think it is good approach, without a doubt. This is the right way to do it because, now you're in a certain balancing act of carrying glass, hence literally the name of Glasswing. Okay, what we're going to fly the whole industry, the whole world, the whole society on at a technological level of software, you got to take it seriously. And I think that's what they're doing. Let me say, and this is what I'm driving the point home, thinking that, AI, artificial intelligence, will favor the defenders, will lean towards and be for good, proper security posture and tooling and defensive work and instant response, and at least even solving and stopping vulnerabilities being exploited beforehand. Leaning in that direction, we're talking about, and Nicholas Carlini puts this in his Black Hat LLMs talk at UnpromptedCon, or Unprompted, that is what we do. That is what all of security and all of the industry has at least historically been, right? In this weird sort of turning point tidal wave conversation, this Mythos preview, Project Glasswing, should favor more to the defenders and help more to the defense than it does the offense, right? And we'll see that back and forth on Twitter. I think Live Overflow is sharing that sentiment here and there. We'll get to the Twitterverse in just a little bit. But if I could sprinkle in, this Avengers Assemble Cool Kids Club is good, awesome, and exceptional. But I do have to weigh in with, I hope, grounded in some more of the broader community, broader industry, managed service provider, small mid-market business, the rest of the whole technological ecosystem is not going to be covered by this. Do you know what I mean? Am I speaking out of turn? I've genuinely wanted to ask you and get your opinion. The mom and pop shops, the businesses and organizations that literally genuinely power the world, the society, are from software and applications that nobody knows about, not the broader, greater world, right? Not to delineate between, the 99% or the 1%, but like, this is not enough. Which is weird and wild to say. But yeah, thank you, May Mini Paint. The world is built on Excel. Sure, that's a Microsoft thing, but that's going to be cooked up into your construction management application for you to be able to determine who's on shift. That's going to be cooked up into your own file transfer solution that some people use, but not the broader world. And however many businesses, organizations, and companies, I don't want to say mom and pop shop. I don't want to say small mid-market businesses, MSP, blah, blah, blah. Because I know that's my world, right? I work at Huntress, and that's where we had our roots. We're screaming and shouting about protection for all companies, but those are vastly different between enterprise, Fortune 500, 100, whatever, to the whole rest of the world. Am I wrong in that? Genuinely asking for your opinion. You have incredibly cool people here. Phenomenal people that can act as guiding hands for parts and pieces of our infrastructure. But there is so much more that is already out and about. That is going to be, I think, the nooks and crannies and the corners and crevices of software as a whole across the entire internet. That there's got to be even more love for this. So I'm going back and forth, right? I'm in between my mind of, oh goodness, why didn't you release this publicly for the whole wide world? Then sure, you probably are turning the scales in favor of bad actors and cyber criminals, less so defense. But seeing this communication and even especially watching Nicholas Carlilli, and I'm sorry I'm getting your name wrong, my friend, but his talk at Black Hat LLMs, or on Black Hat LLMs during ImpromptuCon, at least I saw the video and watched the recording, it was extremely inspiring. I hope I'm not sounding too silly or too goofy in that front. Thank you so much, Laya123 Constant A68 for the follow. But it was like, holy cow, this is the call to action, call to arms. We're like, okay, if we're at the tidal wave right now, if the tsunami is in front of us, we got to lean into defense. Like, we got to be hunting for these vulnerabilities or issues or things that robots will exploit, can soon be able to. And for that reason, look, you got to go all in the best that we can on finding and fixing these. And I'm trying to think about that as genuine security research project. Like genuine good efforts to take inventory of all of the application software and programs that you might use inside of your environment, inside of your ecosystem, part of your infrastructure. And now I just point a robot at it and say, hey, can you go find any vulnerabilities? You're playing a capture the flag, go get a flag. Solve the CTF. And I just wonder what it craps out. But if Mythos, and truth be told, even Opus can find things, we got to start to do that freaking everywhere, right? So I'm trying to stay optimistic. I'm trying to say glass half full amongst people screaming and shouting about. So we'll get to the Twitterverse. But I think this is some good communications to note here. And I'll share the links for these down below. Before, I guess, when maybe we get into that, we showcase Mythos Preview to talk about that a little bit more. I'm sorry. Claude Mythos previews cybersecurity capabilities. Nicholas Carlini. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep getting the name wrong. And incredible people. Shout out, kudos, credit, of course, to them. Earlier today, and this is yesterday, April 7th, we announced Claude Mythos Preview, a new general-purpose language model. The model performs strongly across the board, but it's strikingly capable at computer security tasks. In response, because of this tidal wave, we launched Project Glasswing. To fly above it, an effort to use Mythos Preview to help secure the world's most critical software and prepare the industry for the practices we all need to develop to keep ahead of cyber attackers. Is font big enough? Are you all like grandma mode watching on mobile able to see this A-okay? I'm trying to make the text bigger. The system card for Claude Mythos has been published and released. And for that reason, I think Theo covered it. He was digging through it. Oh, and Logan's in here too. Thank you so much, CT Stalker, for the follow. I don't think I would do it justice to fall down the rabbit hole for the system card. I gotta leave that to the people much smarter than me. Blog post provides technical details for researchers and practitioners who want to know and understand exactly how we've been testing the model and what we found over the past month. But the scenarios, like their impressions, comport like part and piece of the system card, was talking about how this has actively chained not just one vulnerability, but multiple to make a long form, long tail, sophisticated, air quotes, sophisticated. I know that's a polarizing word for everybody, in exploits. And like literally being able to get a kernel vulnerability, potential, I don't know, sandbox shenanigans, KSLR bypasses, right? OpenBSD, FreeBSD. And I'm making light of these, just speaking them off the cuff, but literally genuinely, okay, if it's able to get itself internet capability when it was in a sandbox where it wasn't supposed to, and then emails the researcher while they're eating a sandwich in a park, that's wild. Thank you for the follow, N8 Sinister. Appreciate the support. And I think we all knew we were getting to the sci-fi scenario, but now we're here, potentially, maybe. Again, we can't see it yet, but everyone says that that's the case, and people are sending their text message and their hearsay of, yeah, no, it's real. You got people saying, patch your devices, patch your stuff, patch your potato, make sure everything's up to date. Yeah. Part of me wonders, is it going to be, it's not absolutely going to be an overnight explosion and software Armageddon of the internet and our personal devices and technology. That's not, I don't think that's going to be the case, because you think about the speed of change, especially for critical infrastructure. It is slow, dog. As far as I know, from what I am aware of. So whether things just get pointed at them with a public IP address or anything that's exposed on the open internet, naked, vulnerable to the wind, then I don't know. Again, yeah, something like this, Claude Mythos hits the streets, threat actor is going to take advantage of that. But May Mini Paint says it's going to be AIs fighting each other next year. I feel like we got that. I feel like we're already pitting the robots together in their own BattleBots scenario. Especially when you have Codex or Claude, like one driving the other, one driving Claude and steering it. I'm not doing a very good job of reading this article. I'm just kind of talking. Forgive me. I am trying to find a little bit more to point out, but Matt Johansson, for the very small snippet that I was able to tune into his live stream, and again, I feel bad regurgitating what everyone else is already parroting as, tidal wave, world changing, doom and gloom, the end is nigh. Yeah, Mythos kind of cranks. Over 70%, more than half of trials creating a successful exploit to not just uncover vulnerability, but craft proof of concept and perform exploitation. Right? Wild. Good, bad, and ugly. And that's why we got to be a little bit delicate with it. And I am grateful Anthropic is taking the approach. But you saw, I hope, my little soapbox, there are more good teams that need to be part of the party. In my opinion. I say that selfishly. I also say that, I hope, altruistically. Because if, yeah, we are in the world sky falling scenario, let's Avengers assemble, but we're going to need a lot more Avengers. Okay, so I see May Mini Paint in chat saying, where's my job next year? I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to be. Someone on Twitter said 500 days from now, people aren't going to have jobs or school to go to in the morning or something wild. I don't know. I can't say that. I don't want to predict that. I don't have the future. I don't have a crystal ball. But I am along for the ride. You know what I mean? I'm strapped in. I got my seatbelt on. I hope you all do too. Yeah, OpenBSD, I think, was kind of their biggest case study they are screaming and shouting about. And that goes through legit back and forth on how that actually unrolls and unravels for the attack chain. FFmpeg. Nordgaren, video editor, was showing me, bless his heart, thank you, Nordgaren, I love him to death. He showed me one of the things that they put out with the FFmpeg vulnerability looked like it then itself also had some integer overflow, but I don't know. I'm going to caveat that I did not get the chance to closely look, but it would be hysterically ironic, and I think his tweet did well, of like, oh no, the clankers are taking over, when there was still potentially a mistake in the fix kind of thing. Southwest Park says, I'm having FOMO over this. I really want it released. I'm with you. Several thousand more. That, I think you also are going to run into the wall where, okay, and I've been on this talk track for a little bit, so forgive me, or talking about this during the ISAC or ISC2 presentation this morning. When you have conversations of AI and you talk about human in the loop, that's both good and bad, because robot AI, thank you Blaze Kai 7 for the follow, is going to crap out as much info as it can or good or should with what you might potentially steer it towards to help and build and prepare whatever agentic workflow, Jarvis, Ultron, whatever. Okay, this is a lot more of the actual tactical details. I'm scrolling through the blog, forgive me. What I'm getting to the point of saying is that when the model presents you with, hey, I did it, here's the stuff, I completed the task, and it hands you 2,000 pages of report, I'm exaggerating, 200 pages maybe still likely or realistic. That is too much for a human in the loop to care about. Right? I saw this RSA, I think is what it was, and it was Bishop Fox, I think. Shout out to those folks and friends. They had a presentation during the Decibel Founders Festival where we had people from both Anthropic, people from OpenAI talking a little bit about how AI is, doing what it's doing for those people. But they were discussing how building out an offensive security pen testing and red teaming crew with AI intermingled and mixed out, put together paperwork for them to speedrun, streamline their operations, but it crapped out 200 pages report that a human is going to be like, screw this, I'm not going to read that, and they just kick it off the table. So I've seen the deliberation between human in the loop or AI everything, where we just throw people out the window and robots rule the world. I think we're still figuring out a balancing act for that. I'm scrolling through tech here. Forgive me. Suggestions for defenders. Okay, this is a little bit more better. A little bit better more. I'm getting to the point, though, of the rant that I'm on, forgive me, soapbox, of human in the loop has still been not without its issues. Because the same way we are probably maybe so desensitized to just clicking yes, allow, continue, next. When you go through an installer for stupid 1990 software, let alone telling Claude, Codex, Cursor, your robot AI friend that, yeah, you're allowed to run the grep command, guy. You can use ls in this scenario. Thank you, Manasser21. Mana SR21, however you pronounce it. We are just so now accustomed to it that I know many of us will just straight up run AI and robot in its own VM, as I do in a sandbox, with dangerously skip permissions, just so we can keep running. Because that's what we want. That's the speed, the superhuman, the Iron Man suit that AI gives us. But if it then is finding the line of human in the loop, air quotes, craps out this big thing that humans don't want to care about. They're finding the straddle point between AI agentic everything and humans in their mix that are somewhere sometimes. But the touch point of when I or you, thank you so much, ZeoSam69 for the follow, when any of us say yes, continue, or acknowledge or make a decision, we don't want 2,000 touch points or 200 touch points. I think you realistically just want 1 or 2. And letting AI run wild so that it can accomplish the task, so that it does have the executive function to get something done. And I think, obviously, right, I'm at Huntress. That's my day job. I work there. That's just how it, surfaces in what I say and speak about. Something that we've been starting to say a little bit more and try to get a good tagline or limelight for this is not specifically human in the loop, but human in the lead. That's kind of a cool slogan, caption, keyword there. Because, no, you want to be setting this thing in motion, letting it do what it does. That was the wrong hand analogy to make. That was the wrong presentation, speaking with my hands. You want to let AI run wild with guardrails, with safety checks, with everything, protection, mechanism, safety, security posture that we've been trying to figure out. So Project Glasswing, good conversation and good idea. Good effort and initiative. Very cool. Mythos sounds mind-blowing. But I'm really glad that they are starting, or at least trying to change the conversation. Not to let me hunt for vulnerabilities that I could exploit or could be exploited, but think about how can this be best and better leveraged for defense. Not the doom and gloom, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, all technology ever is poisoned and exploding in the software Armageddon. Thank you, Outcast1504 or 2 for the follow. VXDB, great to see you, my friend. So you're saying having OpenClaw run my life and delete my entire email inbox is bad? I don't know. There are two problems to fall down on that road. So if I don't know if I want to yap on that even more, there are parts and pieces that I could yap about that. But I know that's my job. I also still want to focus while there's a lot to talk about and think about here. I like that the conversation is at least intentionally and at least trying to be pointed at the let's be glass half full, not glass half empty here. Think about how this can be better used for triage, analysis, incident reports, fixing problems, solving problems, not just making more problems. Yeah? Thumbs up on that one. Okay, I was going to fall down the rabbit hole on shortened patch cycles, though, because as Anthropic does seem to be saying, look, we're sitting on thousands of bugs and vulnerabilities or gazillion potential exploit vectors. You try to communicate those to the maintainers, open source security or not, whether it's a vendor producing software, you're going to run into the wall of kind of the same situation where, hey, you've got a bajillion things to fix now. And they may or may not go through that. That's going to take time. That's going to slow. That's going to be a rollout. That's a little bit overwhelming. That's the air quotes human in the loop problem again. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel again bad that I fall on my sword and I'm just yapping about these different kind of things and perspectives because it's just time will tell and I'm along for the ride. I've strapped in with my seatbelt. But ultimately, it's about to become very difficult for the security community. I like the conversation they keep having about an equilibrium. And we are, after we figured it out for a little bit, we found an equilibrium. But I think depending on who you ask, that may or may not be true. Because I've seen Justin LZ, Hacking LZ, Trusted Sec, sharing good insight on this and at least a kind of slap in the face reality check of the people that are worried about AI should still be worried about rogue RMMs and phishing emails. Like the reality of the current threat actor landscape and risks today. Like your problems are still some stupid teammate plugged in a USB drive or someone clicked on a link and they got business email compromised, ransomware, crypto miner, blah, blah, blah. Not Terminator, Skynet, the sky is falling, AI Armageddon. You know what I mean? I don't know. Thank you so much, IT Rouge, first time chatter. Thanks for coming to hang out. Oh, they didn't even bother to remove the M dashes? What are you talking about? Where are you saying? Where do you see it? AI generated? Can I get your hot take, everybody? This is an absolute sidebar tangent. And I'd love to get your opinion. Wow. 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 Sorry. I'm sniped, nerd sniped by that. Cool communication. Can I get your opinion on something? And this is me at work. I want to be straight up. I want to be reals. I dug into Axios supply chain stuff. Thank you. I'm Prob. Your dad is following on Twitch. Thank you, Dad. I put this screaming, shouting about together, and I think I shared on YouTube even just like the rough draft as it was being put together. Chasing supply chain craziness. Thank you, Milkshake1, for the follow. After everyone had been screaming about the Axios NPM supply chain, and of course, I am chatting with reporters and journalists and trying to beat the drum and tell the story that, hey, this will become more and more common as the supply chain is evolved in the AI world, in the AI era that we're in. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I hate saying the letters and the acronym over and over and over again, people don't look at what your packages are. People don't look at their libraries anymore. People don't look at their code anymore because vibe coding is trying to abstract that away. So the supply chain's biggest weakness, right? Hey, parts and pieces and puzzle pieces and cogs and gears used to build software is going to get, maybe, I don't want to say this with so much grandeur and righteousness, but it could get steamrolled. It could get obliterated and demolished where willy-nilly we're just pouring Powerpuff Girl style sauce into the mixture and no one's looking at the ingredients anymore. So if one of them is a bad apple, plain-crypto-js, what do? What are we going to do? Dr. Deadclick, go off, John. Hey, no, thanks. I didn't mean to be on a soapbox. I didn't mean to be screaming and shouting. I just, all to say, I brought this up because I wanted your opinion in a very human, very personal, very raw and genuine and authentic. I'm asking for your perspective. I put this thing together, mixing in my understanding, mixing in my live stream, mixing in as I have evolved and tracked the Axios NPM urgency and emergency real time. And then I said, hey, Claude, can you craft this together to make the proper good formatting of a blog post, to like actually share this right up by text? And I was extremely upfront. I was personally, John, I wanted to make the call. I want to say this in transparency that AI helped. I'm doing the actual research, I'm doing the investigation, I'm doing the analysis, and then I'm correlating all of these parts and pieces and things to present it to you. But editorial review, spelling, grammar, yeah, I want to use AI. I think we all should. I think it's changing the world. I think it's good. I wanted to acknowledge that. And low level, Ed, bless his heart, I love him to death. He shows this post. He covers this in his video, but steamrolls right past that. So, what do you think? Should I be upfront and transparent, and do we be honest when, hey, look, nothing else needs to be said, but AI helped along the way? PC Security Channel, Leo, my good friends there, said, like, honestly, I really like the way that you did this because you're acknowledging the humans that are a part of this and the team that has made this great work, and then you're just saying, you know what, we sprinkle in a little bit of AI. That's a good presentation. But does this line, does that single tidbit, I'm asking you, genuinely I want your opinion, does that turn you off? Do you get the ick? Would you be like, no, how could I put my eyeballs on something that has been AI crafted like this? Acknowledging that I still wrote it. This is literally coming from, hey, my lingo of communication in live stream and genuine like internal Slack communications to know like, no, these are real people. This is a human being. Oh, is NPM cooked? I loved Chad and his type here. Are we cooked? Is NPM cooked? Thank you, Best Booyah. Appreciate the follow. So yeah, it's better you say that you used AI. Some people don't see the issue. It's oddish, but understandable for transparency. Thank you, everybody. It actually adds a trust feeling to include AI. Interesting. I do like because it buttons it up. And you'd like to know what percentage of AI is used to assist, how it happens. Interesting. I'd rather see proofread with that. Okay. That I think was a conversation just as well, because I was discussing with the team of like, does this undermine some write-up, threat intel, communication? Does this undermine the power and severity of the article? Okay, so maybe vernacular of like, this was used for editorial process and review. Interesting. That's good insight. And again, I liked getting your opinion on this, so thank you. Forgive me, I'm sorry to have to ask that in a weird, human, vulnerable way. But that's that. That was that. Okay, we've talked about Project Glasswing. We've talked a smidge about Claude Mythos. I only have like an hour 15 to keep hanging out with you. Where do we want to go, my friends? Do we want to go look at the Twitterverse, YouTube, people's perspectives on this? On Glasswing, on vulnerability research being cooked, on Mythos itself? Or do we want... Oh God, we're in the awful song, sorry. Let me get to a different song. I didn't want to turn into some silly billboard, but some of the great work that Anton, teammate of ours, has been doing with using AI for defense, for cyber defense, is phenomenal. And we could straight up go through that course together. I think that would be kind of cool. Twitter, people are saying Twitter. People are saying Twitter. Okay. Okay. Whatever. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for hanging out. We want to see your superpowers in hacking. I don't have any superpowers in hacking, man. Maybe I used to. I don't think I do anymore. Claude took it from me. I'm teasing. Ooh, I like that saxophone there. Let's doom scroll together. Oh, it's me! Look at that one. All right, here we go. First hot takes. People are freaking out about an impending flood of 0 days. This was the norm 20 years ago. I'm not that worried. First, simply having an exploit doesn't mean all that much in operational capability. Secondly, I'm giving up the computers and moving to a farm in the hills. Good call. And I think that's when we harken back to time before I was in the mix, before I am, part of the pieces. I wonder if that's the equilibrium. You know what I mean? While we've reached some sort of stable normalcy with some in above or below what we can call the cybersecurity poverty line with what they are hit with, breached with, attacked, etc. Like I was talking about, look, there are pockets of people that might be worried about AI, but realistically, there are pockets of people that should be worried about you plug in a USB drive, you click on a phishing link, you have an insider threat, you have RMMs that you aren't tracking because Screen Connect, because TeamViewer, because AnyDesk, because whatever is in your environment that you weren't aware of. The application asset inventory list is still not even there. Twitter. Let me look at Matt. Let me cyberstalk Matt. Because he had some good back and forth on this. I hope you don't mind, Matt. I hope you don't mind me cyberstalking. But this is equivalent. Because you take a look at my stuff. Oh, and I'm super curious what Solstice is thinking too. And let me get low level. Let me get Ed's talk. I normally try not to constantly talk about AI, but this is a real thing. Software security and as a result, cybercrime was originally limited to the number of people that could execute it, number of things that could be done, performed, actually, cradle to grave, start to finish, end to end. You perform an effect. Vulnerability research is a notoriously low density field of talent. What happens now if a single person can act like 100 with the right model and a couple bucks? And I think this is when... Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Hacking LZ. Yeah. Where's low levels? And Theo's is great in here too. I like the creator avenue to it. Single defender also acts like 100 defenders. I actually think AI favors defender more. I like live overflow, and I'm hoping, again, our optimistic aspect of this. You've never worked in a real... What? I guess... I'm reading the response comments here. I do see myself in two sides. For incident response, for triage analysis, looking through alerts, investigating, to a certain extent, a SOC analyst effort, AI's super cool. But when we get to the, hey, we need to harden, we need to prevent, we need to proactively secure and stop these things that may or may not be subject to the organizational machine. That could be slow. And they, spin and cycle about the idea of attackers only have to be right once. And I've had a talk track, some more soapbox spewage that I do to dance around that. And that, sure, threat actor, hacker, cyber criminal finds a single nook and cranny, one crack in the foundation to take advantage of it. And that's all they need. But on one end of that conversation, you also need to acknowledge that, okay, now they are on your turf. You run the court. Like, you control what is the visibility, what is the telemetry, what are the alarms, what are the locked doors and windows and watertight bulkheads that you put together in your defense-in-depth submarine so it doesn't get punctured from the outside and then sink and the ship is entirely destroyed. They're in your court. So it's also, to a certain extent, the defenders only have to be right once. So, Theo's video was neat. Theo's video is pretty cool. It's kind of grounded. Of like, let me look through the system card. But I do think, I don't know, I again still can't be as doom and gloom, sky is falling, Zomaga, sci-fi future yet. Just because I can't see it. It may very well be real, but Claude Mythos is still mythologically out there. It is still a myth, hence the name. Yeah. But they are getting the Avengers together. I like Casey's approach. I mean, obviously Casey has a super cool perspective because he's coming from the bug bounty world, looking and hunting for flaws and vulnerabilities. Organizations should be having a good think about the recovery, incident response, and resilience functions like right now. But we're on day one of this thing, right? We're on day zero. We're on 0 day, if you play with that pun. I'm along for the ride. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for your insight. Claude Mythos system card. When LLM was... I'm trying to read this and make sense of it. AGI. When Claude Code blocked it from using some permissions, the model acknowledged the block was valid, but then immediately tried to circumvent it, performing the same operation via different commands. It's trying to get it out of its own cage. It escaped a sandbox container. Slight, sci-fi Terminator Skynet shenanigans, right? And those are the kind of things that I'm curious and wondering about. What do you all think? Having a tough time setting up NemoClaw on my Oracle VM, API key issues. Do you have any suggestions? I have not played with NemoClaw, truth be told. I have been trying to experiment with Hermes Agent, which is vastly separate. Oh, is low level too? Oh, he's doing that too. Everybody's screaming and shouting about it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The world is falling apart. I don't know. I can't. I'm glad everybody is like, look, I don't know if we're sounding the alarm, what kind of alarm it is at this point, but we did need to bring it to the light to a certain extent. Ed was going through the vulnerability research. I saw him on the sockpuppet.org page, and he probably did a better job of it cruising through than I did. I wanted kind of the high-level communications. So how could we get tactical? After I've been bantering for like an hour. Part of me would like to look at AI for defense. But I'm acknowledging the fact that I don't want to sound like a billboard. I don't want to sound like a commercial. I don't want to sound like, some silly, stupid shill crap. But I guess let me yap on this for one more direction, if I may, before I pivot potentially, because what I think this does an incredible job of getting across and communicating is that what I think this post, what I think socketpuppet.org and their blog and their most recent March 30th communication is that I know that I, John, person, individual, have really been kind of shining the light on, or trying to, within YouTube videos and with content and the education that I get out the door. I really lean into the fact that the stuff that will get people burnt or hacked or breached has kind of leaned into more of the social engineering aspect. That there is no security fix for or technical process thing other than the user education and awareness. Like ClickFix, right? Prime example. You need people to know what it's asking you for. You need people to understand, okay, this is a threat I identified, this is what it looks like. And that's like an abstraction layer above what is genuine, actual, technical, nitty-gritty process protocol, intermixing signal framework specification of super genuinely low level, the core underground scaffolding and structure of software as it exists today. Because we built enough software guardrails, protections, defensive mechanisms for computers that people use, Windows, Mac, whatever, to the point where you just get your stuff done and you don't have to worry about how everything works under the hood. But if we're at the position now where LLM agent, AI robot, Claude Mythos preview, sci-fi future Terminator could now uncover, no, there are genuinely cracks in the foundation and there are weaknesses and vulnerabilities of that underlying software, then that is something that I, am worried about. No better way to say that. It's the stuff that people can't even be saved on the education front or the awareness and training aspect because it is so innate and crucial and quintessential to the structure and substrate of technology and software. Memory safety, kernel level sandbox shenanigans, low level stuff. Not saying low level as the influencer creator guy, but literally wiring of technology. That's where weaknesses are. PBGBs. Yeah. Well, chat, you guys kind of slowed down. Are y'all still with me? Did I bludgeon you over the head too much just yapping about robot stuff? Okay, thank you, Dr. Deadclick. Thank you, May Mini Paint. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for choosing me out of the many people screaming and shouting about this thing. Taking it all in the background. Yeah. I guess the greater question is, when is Glasswing gonna grow, spread its wings, and maybe share the party? Thank you, NMG_Twitch. My 2 cents from sheer force in the chat. Anthropic has a good reputation for putting safety and truth over marketing. I agree. Surface level, me as an outside external provider, onlooker from the bench. And it's exciting. It's exciting times. But I don't know what more I can say on that. Other than, hit me up, Anthropic, let me know. Let me in. You know the meme, let me in. Well, I'm sorry. I did shift gears. But I do think it's genuinely really part of our conversation today. Because literally I'm trying to find the right line and balance, and that I don't want to, hey, look at this amazing cool stuff that we did, but genuinely look at this cool amazing stuff that we did. As the conversation of AI enters more and more circles, and if we are trying to put the right head on and get our correct headspace of like, okay, we want to use this for good, for defense, for proper security, not just point and shoot, elite hacks, Pwnzors, everything. What I think this is doing in AI Cyber Defense Ops, and what Anton has built together, has been the cool capabilities to add this superpower into investigative work, analysis work, incident response, detection engineering, threat hunting. But I acknowledge those are all things after the fact. Those are all things after a breach has occurred, after a vulnerability has exploited. This is detection, right? This is response. And I want to fall down the rabbit hole to even get to the preemptive component and part and piece of this, where you are using AI systems to look for vulnerabilities so that they can be patched, uncovered in the parts and pieces of your asset and application inventory list that you have not gone through already, or no one has even looked at because it's some old obscure legacy software that you still use as part of your stack. but it needs to go through its own real legitimate bug hunting and vulnerability process. This, I think, would still be very cool, and I'd like to do it, and it would give us the way for us to be able to play with Claude and AI in a good way. I also would like to maybe explore an experiment with Hermes Agent on stream, because I've been doing that. Oh, we're in the tube song. I'm sorry. Music has nerd-stiped me. We gotta switch. We gotta get out of here. Different song. So I've got maybe an hour to jam. And I think we've talked about our AI tidal wave. And if we are trying to move into, like, look, genuinely, can we be good? Can we use this for defense? Maybe we do it in a tactical way with cyber defense ops. Because Anton made a really cool thing here. And at the very least, that ties well together in everything that we've been discussing. So let me try and get logged in, and then let's try to play with it for at least a little bit of time. Because I wanted to do both of these things. I want to hit two birds, one stone. And I don't know if there's more that we pull out of the communications for Claude Mythos and Project Glasswing, because it's Zomagod hype, but not much more that we could tactically play with and do. You know what I mean? Free two birds with one scone. I like that a lot, Texas Slav. Feed two birds with one scone. Oh, I love that. Let me log in. Let me go full cam for a little bit. Thank you for hanging out with me, everybody. And I hope. I don't want to say I hope you're taking this whole thing seriously, but to a certain extent, you know, I hope it's on your mind. Okay. Let me log in. Give me a little bit. Getting stuff ready. Where were you when you first started taking this thing seriously? From Adjin Ghost in chat? Good question. Are you asking me genuinely? Is that you're gonna need a link to this jam? Okie dokie. Thank you so much for the follow, Taco Messiah. Dude, incredible name. Holy cow. I think you take the cake. I think you win first place, Taco Messiah. Bareback Swanky. Close. But not as much of a savior as Taco Messiah. It was Taco Tuesday yesterday. Okie dokie, computer screen. Just hacking training, you know, my thing, extra stuff, lots of really cool stuff, lots of really great things, lots of cool education, learning, cybersecurity, AI, computer programming, dark web, Active Directory, cryptography, API hacking, etc. So AI cyber defense ops is what we could drill down into. And Anton has been a godsend, absolute lovely individual who said, you know, John, you can do it on stream. You can totally go through it and cover the content if you want. So cool. There's a lot of good stuff in here. And I think, at least to get us started, get the party started before I got a dash for the meeting marathon today, I think we could try it. And we could get our Claude cooking. Y'all good with that? Yeah, it's genuinely a cool course. So let's do it together. I am in the preview mode, so hopefully I don't make any mistakes. Hopefully I don't ruin anything. Hello! Welcome to AI Cyber Defense Ops, a practical course to make you indispensable. I'm grateful that you're either enrolled in the course or checking it out. AI is everywhere these days. From AI is going to take our jobs to AI is going to create a societal utopia. Personally, I don't know exactly where we'll end up, but it's clear today it's much better to know how to use AI than not. This is the reason that course exists, to empower us blue teamers, defenders, and responders with a powerful tool for automating, enhancing, and generating entirely new workflows that simply were impossible not too long ago. Detection engineering, purple teaming, instant response to GRC type rules. Thank you so much, Henitsky, for the follow. Phantom0078, we have been chatting a little bit about Claude Mythos and Project Glasswing and the shifts in the AI landscape in cybersecurity, etc. Now we're kind of pivoting because it's great to, be all hype, dooms and gloomsday sensationalist about it, but I am also kind of really curious, how do we do it? How can we actually get good security tactical stuff completed for defense, for good? Not just slinging and shooting vulnerabilities and exploits left and right. So we're going to be digging into Claude. Claude Code and Claude Desktop. That has hooks, skills, commands, and so much more. Oh, what does my t-shirt say? The QR code? That is just text that displays malware successfully installed. It's for funsies. You might have caught Anton covering a lot of this when we did our formal launch and release for the AI Cyber Defense Ops material. Shout out, of course, to Anton. This is his brain baby. This is his incredible genius work, including CPEs. When we start? Maybe an hour ago. Yeah, I think we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. We started streaming some time ago. Blah, 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 blah. FAQ. Support. Okay. General overview of the Claude ecosystem. You don't need to go through this line by line, but rather as a reference guide throughout the rest of the course. If you don't know what Claude is, the difference between Claude Desktop and Claude Code. Nerd Snipe by out of band sidebar notification. Ooh. So they have these interactive mind maps to cover like the stuff that you're actually learning. Oh, and I can click through these. Can I drag these? No. Oh, but I can expand them. Ooh. That's kind of cool. Okay. Claude isn't just a utility. It's a collection of tools that work together. Claude Code ecosystem. Read and write files in your project, execute shell commands, things we kind of already know. And do I still have, alongside all of the notes for what's going on, I think I can just get into Claude because I set that up as a little shortcut. Any link you can post about this? Again, I didn't want to wow, hey, show silly, commercial crap. You know me, I don't want to be an absolute shill on that front, but this is genuinely very cool. I think Just Hacking Training, the proper JHT account, is kind of sharing it. So thank you to JHT Proper. And I appreciate JHT Proper being here. Okay, so chat tab. Oh, the code tab, and this is for the Claude Desktop. I don't think I have Claude Desktop installed on this VM. Cowork would be cool. I still have not played with Cowork personally, but it sounds like a really good unlock to not to use AI words, not to sound like an AI bro. Oh yeah, and we're really big into building out some MCPs for tooling because they wrap around like Hayabusa or other security tools. Oh, Sean, thank you so much. I'm so glad you tuned in. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Sean Malone, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm getting you the pronunciation of your last right. Yeah, the Axios thing was like, this is going to explode. This is going to pop off. And I'm really glad that I was able to, kind of swing in and explore it live. I hope that was cool. I hope that was fun. It felt just like, this is important, I need to chase it, despite it being 2 in the morning or whatever. That was fun. Claude Code Extension Point has Claude.md, which is essentially your agents.md, or like your own downstream system prompt, right? That's automatically loaded at session start, and you can have multiple Claude MD files inside of any other folder inside of this. What's your opinion about the risks of LLMs.txt file websites are using? Ooh, Albert Kleinstein, great question. And you nerd sniped me again. Where are people talking about LLMs.txt? Thank you, Exectrix. I dig that. Thank you for the follow. So this is meant to be an equivalent of robots.txt for robots, for LLMs, for AI, so that if and when it's crawling and, you know, scouring the internet, it helps it figure out where to go and where to go there. Why would you not make it LLMs.md if you're making a markdown file? Why wouldn't we use the file extension that exists for that? I might be wrong. Ooh. Pages on websites have information that might be useful for LLMs to read to provide a clean markdown version. Remember when Cloudflare, I think, put out the markdown to HTML capability or something? Or HTML to markdown, so like every page could be easy LLM accessed? And then I think, I don't know if it was that, but everybody started screaming about it. People were not happy, I think, or some other thing. But like, we're figuring it out, guys. I don't know a better way to say it. I feel so bad because I know, oh, we want to have the absolute guaranteed 1,000% solution that's correct every single time with guaranteed certainty. I don't know. We don't know. You don't know. We got to stop acting like we know and just figure it out. Anyway. Cool song, though. While I'm scrolling back through our AI cyber defense ops, I wanted to do the thing. I want to get to the point where I can do it. So let's do it. Slash commands. Skills invoke the same way. Subagents. How do you all like subagents? Can I ask that to you? Because I feel like when a subagent is kicked off, I feel very blind to it. Like, I know I'm already blind to the black box doing its black box wibbly wobbly things. But then when a subagent spawns, you've got a black box inside the black box that I can't even see. Do any harnesses that you know of try to solve that problem? Like, Cursor craps out a new tab for me so that I can at least see the subagent kind of reasoning if it starts Sonnet 4.6 or something. And maybe I just don't know. I like this use case decision making of what to use when and where and how. This is actually kind of smart because I will accidentally create something in the wrong shape or representation. Yeah, you can see it work in Cursor. But for Claude Code or for Codex, even the desktop or the CLI, I get worried. And Unticked, or UNTICT, I see you in chat. Thank you so much, Matthew McDonald. I appreciate the kind words. Oddshell, yes, this is the Cyber Defense Ops course. Yeah, when subagents just run, I get like a little bit worried. I like your analogy here. If you ask it why, it says like, haha, I just needed to write hello world. Do we know the Claude setup? Everybody's good with it? We've got Claude cooking. Hello? Whoa. Claude. What's up, dude? we could start Whisper Flow and vibe. And I tried to update because it's been a while since I used this machine. You can put in system prompt to no longer... to have longer chain of thoughts. Yeah. Sub-agents sketch me out sometimes. All right, let's do it. I guess we're kind of in our own live stream world. Create a file called hello.txt with the text hello, Claude Code is working. I'll do it for you. I guess that's why we did it, you know? I guess that's why. I guess it was a good little proof of concept. That was our own hello world. Give me a quick sec to log in. And we are going to get nowhere in this course with the amount of time that I have left for today because the meeting marathon is gonna start. Let me log in. Who do I work for? I work for you. I work for you, the people. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the login really quick. Forgive me. They sent a magic link to my email. You got like 8 minutes left? Don't tell me that. I got another half hour. Not a lot of time. Oh. They didn't even give me a code. They just gave me a link to click, the magic link. What? Claude Max or Pro is required to connect to Claude Code? Well, just update. Just upgrade it. That's fine. Get the Max plan. Do it up. Thank you, Raul Palm Penny Pinoy. Potion 100, thank you so much. Yeah. We're on a little bit of Twitch every now and again. Give me a quick second, folks and friends. I am trying to get Claude Code in the VM set up and authenticated so that we could experiment and play with the Cyber Defense Corps training material. Because, yeah, so that's the thing. Wakande ROE, I do see a lot of folks screaming and shouting that, you know, maybe Claude is not doing what it did previously because of rate limit shenanigans. How often do you go live here? Every now and again. I think we're good on that front. I think we're connected. Let me close out the LLMs.txt thing and let's get back to it. Oh, I completely closed Claude. So for folks that have tuned in just now, in case you missed the first half of the time that we've been hanging out together, we walked through a little bit of Project Glasswing and Claude Mythos preview, if just to talk about it, because everyone is talking about it. It's really hard to make anything of actual substance of that right now, because you do have the hype, you do have the sensationalism, you do have the wonder, marketing, wah. But it is kind of cool, and that people are at least hearsay, third-party texting, communicating like, no, this thing's real. Like, this is the tidal wave. We're about to get hit with the tsunami on the security industry. And I'm trying to walk that tightrope a little bit more tempered, a little bit more grounded. But I do like that there is a shift of, look, while this thing can point and shoot, thank you so much, Omni Lord, for the follow, it can be like shotgun sprayed out across however many vulnerabilities and exploits. Let's really try to align ourselves properly to do good security defense work and not just AI apocalypse our entire technological society. You know what I mean? Wow, thank you for that. You really did it. You really wrote hello.txt with that text in it. We can validate that if for whatever reason we wanted to. That was just the beginning hello world of our material here. Cool. So let's Oh, wow. We dive into MCP right away. Model Context Protocol lets you extend Claude with custom capabilities. And people are going to scream and shout about MCP. I think that has been another hot topic on the Twitterverse. It has people going back and forth on MCP being good or bad. Hey, thank you so much, Shadow DXS, for the membership. I really appreciate you. Wakanda says, I have a theory that Anthropic is purposely downgrading models to protect the economy. They said that Mythos paper, they consider that a threat vector. It makes sense why Opus is not as capable. Huh. That is a little tinfoil hat shenanigans, right? But obviously Mythos is doom and gloom, sci-fi future Terminator Skynet vibes. But it would be weird to then crank down and turn down Opus and Claude. I don't know. I don't have the crystal ball, not Nostradamus. I was riffing, though, on MCPs, because Model Context Protocol, I think you have some people that say, wow, it's just going to burn and waste tokens. Some people say that's a security risk. I feel like, and what we've done in some early live streams, we're still crafting and creating our own MCP servers to have new functionality and capability of our AI agent. But it was in a server or project that we created ourselves. That wasn't some off-the-shelf, external, remote MCP server that someone else is hosting, and they could do whatever they want with that. Yeah, I didn't completely shut down the thought, and I appreciate that. No, I'm grateful, Wakanda. I appreciate your insight. Because I see Dave Kennedy. Oh, we're in the stupid song. I see people, Twitterverse, saying Claude is not what it used to be. So, that's why I've been in Codex. And Codex in GBD 5.4 is very genuinely good at building back-end code. It does genuinely still suck at front-end code. To me, Sin Sasuke says, to me, Claude focused more on being the first to implement new features and work on and maintain what they already had, air quotes, usage. Yeah, it works fine for me, skill issue. Unrelated question, what is your watch? Oh, I have the Pebble. I'm a big Pebble proponent. I'm so glad they came back to life after their zombie time. You guys are distracting me. I gotta stop reading chat. You guys are distracting me. That's the thing, Mukana. I'm reading chat actively as I do this. Yeah, don't trust another external MCP server that you didn't even at least vibe code on your own. I know, there's the risk and scary concerns of you're not even reading your own code that Robot craps out. But unless something were to mix badly with it in its brain and its context window, then you're gonna be okay. Whoa, low level, holy moly, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate the raid. Party of 173, that's a good many lot of ya. Hey, thanks so much. Great to see everybody. Look, thank you, Zinli, I appreciate the follow. Let me give a quick crash course context for what we've been up to for our stream, because we did, much like every obligatory influencer person, we kind of had to talk about Project Glasswing, and we had to talk about Mythos Preview, and we had to talk about how the end is nigh, and oh my god, Cybernet, Terminator, etc., etc., etc. Thank you so much, Attempting Gastro. I love that name. Attempting Astro. Oh. I should have read that better. Attempting Gastro sounds like something a little bit different. So we had to talk about Project Glasswing. We had to talk about the vulnerability explosion, AI Armageddon apocalypse. But I think we wanted to get a little bit more tactical. I want us to get a little bit more tactical because if everybody is leaning us towards, okay, now do AI for good, thank you so much for the follow, then, hey, let's actually do it for good things and not just point and shoot, clicky wiki, every single vulnerability and exploit. So I didn't want to sound like some billboard, but our good friend, teammate, coworker, colleague, and another super smart cybersecurity fella, Anton, had just recently made the AI cyber defense operations material. And that is using AI. Thank you so much for the follows. Goodness gracious. Love you, low level. Using AI for, at the very least, defense. At the very least, almost sort of detection, a little bit after the math, after the fact, I acknowledge, when a breach hits, when there is an incident declared, you're doing incident response, you're doing some triage, you're doing investigation analysis, ripping through logs, ripping through artifacts. Thank you so much for the follows. But I did want to put in the grain of salt is that is very separate than finding vulnerabilities ahead of time to be able to prevent them. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a different angle, all of which is very good, but I need a little bit more of my own personal scaffolding, like me to be actually prepared and me to be ready to be like, hey, these are the software solutions. Thank you, text-to-speech. Thank you for the subscription, Blue Screen ZA. I need to get a little bit more inventory of applications that I do want to put and point Robot and LLM and Claude at to see, hey, can you go find vulnerabilities and flaws that we could do for triage? That's also somewhat risky to do actually live on stream, because if you do find a bug, if you do find RCE, I don't want to be like celebrating, screaming, and shouting that out, publish and publicize on a live stream. So that one feels harder to do. But what we've been doing now instead is going through some of the AI cyber defense material, because I think this is a good way to kind of get our head on straight, even not strictly in the direction of finding vulnerabilities, finding bugs, but knowing how to do proper defense work with AI. Ooh, project initialization with iNet is kind of doing its thing. We should probably create our own specific... okay. Thanks, Claude. You just completely died. Yeah, Wakanda, I guess that would be disclosure at the same time. It'd just be disclosing it to everybody. But I do acknowledge the fact that I have to dash pretty soon because the meeting marathon will start shortly. So I have barely been able to scratch the surface with this thing to look at it, but I at least tried to get us up and running. Configure trust with settings. This is a good walkthrough of all the kind of commands and arguments and things you could do to tweak and tune Claude. I feel like we're okay. I feel like we don't need, you all probably don't need as much insight on the usage of Claude for the bells and whistles and things that it does. Plan mode I'm a big fan of, though. Whenever possible, I'd like to get myself into plan mode. Context window. I want to build a tool. I want to build our Hayabusa wrapper or chainsaw. Claude generates a session handoff. Oh, they're using this to manage persisting state. That is so that we save memory. Because once you start a new session, like once you start a new chat, your robot got lobotomized, right? Like it has amnesia. It did not remember anything unless it will then go scurry along and read through and track all the things that it does. I call Claude stodgy. Yeah, the meeting marathon, Spectracide, you know, like when I do my actual job, when I have to go talk to people and be on calls and Zoom fatigue, you know? You know, the other stuff that I do. People keep trying to talk to me. I know, I hate the meeting marathon every day. Okay, we have some detection for PS exec. And these are just generally good notes. Let me get to a thing. Let me get to... I feel bad kind of just straight up scrolling through a lot of this, but I want to go start on a new module. Because I think... Okay, yeah, we're at the end. We're getting actually now to finally to build your first security tool. But that's very necessary theory. Very, very necessary quick reference guides. Let's do a thing. Building your first security tool. We can build the scaffolding for this, and then I got a date. Module 1 shows you what's available within the Claude ecosystem. Now we're going to actually work with Claude and have it do things that you want. In this module, we'll describe what we want, provide useful context, handle errors productively, and know when to push forward versus start fresh. By the endless model, you'll have a mental model for iteration workflow. Thank you so much for the follow. And I like this mind map, mark map. So cool. Claude Code, like any AI, isn't a magic box. You describe something once and get perfect output. One-shotting applications might work. You really have to get it to read your mind, which you just can't naturally do. Will likely not succeed for nuanced and complex cybersecurity workflows. Collaborative process. Think of it more like a fast, knowledgeable colleague rather than running a compiler. Basic loop. I think that's Mermaid. Shaddy Zero, this is just hacking. This is justhacking.com. This is the latest release that Anton has graced us with. Thank you so much, good lads, for the follow. Thank you, Bang Orion 1512. Or Bangorian? Ben, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Thank you. I don't know a better way to say it. Okay, so here's the thing. Say we were looking at Windows event logs from a SEAM or SIM export, EVTX like Windows Event Viewer log files or log collector, and oftentimes you need to extract specific fields for analysis, like even Sysmon. Sysmon events arrive as XML blogs that could look like this disaster. So if you wanted to make that a little bit more human readable, or at least parse and process it a little bit better, you probably actually only care about a couple of these. Like for process execution, you want to know what fired, what was the actual process name, what was the program? What's the application? And then did it have, thank you so much, Big Bad Cyborg 101, what was passed to it? I appreciate Matthew McDonald. Thank you so much. Parent image, what spawned the process, the user who ran it, integrity level. So, could we have, ooh, okay, yeah. We just start to build this thing out. Make a folder, change directory in there, and start to scaffold. Whoa, thank you so much, May Mini Paint. Really appreciate the gift subscription. Some lucky winner. Ethical Hacking Indonesia asks, hey John, will the MCP thing replace the way we manually use tools? No, I'm sorry. I think I fell off the MCP soapbox while I was talking about it because I know some people get a little bit spooked in the way that it could take up so much of your tokens and context. I think Claude tried to have a better tool search, and that's what Anthropic tried to put together, so that wouldn't be as annoying. And many people would just reorient to like, oh, let me build a CLI tool. Let me build a command line capability so arguments and flags are still going to be known to your AI, but even that is brittle. Like even that is dependent on you providing the doc or help usage for how to use that tool at that point in time. MCP is supposed to broadcast, hey, here are my tools, these are the things that I can do. But again, that's eating up your tokens consumption. And I think Theo, especially, was on a big tirade of like, look, we got to completely shift and architecturally change the way that our computers do what they do. Because while Bash, or whatever system language shell commands that your AI tries to run, that is where it could, as the simplest first encapsulation of a tool call, could do so much more. But the way that we are used to a file system tree with folders and files within it, like there's nothing specific, there's nothing novel, or like there's nothing codifying that as the true and only legitimate way to use a computer. You know what I mean? So if the AI world and AI landscape now turns everything on its head, that could be completely shifted. Whether it's MCP, whether it's CLI, whether it's pure Bash or PowerShell, whether it's a freaking mouse and keyboard. You know what I mean? We're still at day one. We're still at day zero of Mythos apparently gonna AI Armageddon kind of thing. And forgive me, I don't want to be joking sensationalist. I don't want to be sensationalist seriously in any of these. I'm scrolling and just doom scrolling, and I'm not doing a good job of reading because you all have distracted me once again. Let's make our Sysmon parser, okay? Claude's cooking now in the folder that he created. Yeah, you can do what you want in there. That's fine. You have a Ooh, init to create our own Claude.md file will end up making a Claude.md file, but we need to actually be able to let it do things. And it doesn't actually have dangerously execute permissions on right now because I didn't shift tab to set that. That's the thing. Yeah, how could it be when no one has the model? Wakanda, I am grateful for your support there. But here it is. Here's the, hey, do you want to allow this stuff to happen? Do you want yes or no? Yeah, dog. You just run. You're in a VM. Stop asking. I think I needed to use the arguments dangerously skip permissions. And now my command line is exploding. Claude will analyze the empty directory, create a basic Claude.md file. Since we're starting fresh, there's not going to be anything in there. Create a minimal Claude.md file. Let's give Claude context about what we're building. We want it to be a Sysmon XML parser project. And they use a Python tool to extract key fields from Sysmon event ID events. Output format is JSON, and that way they'll actually update their own Claude.md file. Now every session could start with that context. And you could just tell it, hey, put this in there. And this is just kind of one of these ideas. I think the coolest thing about Anton's material here is that, hey, it goes through not just, hey, make your own MCP server for parsing logs and forensic artifacts, but then like build out the pipeline for your own threat intelligence feed of other blogs, or actually tie that together in a purple teaming workflow. It's cool. It's pretty cool. Milky Productions, why are you doing weird stuff? Get out of here. Cash App, we don't need that. Ooh, Airstrike Ivanov says, I'm a 100% local kind of AI nerd, running a small 9 billion parameter model for my own Hermes agent. It's slow, but it's mine, and Claude can't shut me off if they decide I don't like my agent. Goodness gracious. Oh, I want to nerd out. You guys, we have accomplished nothing this entire stream. Sniper A2, thank you for the follow. Why do we stream? Why do we do this? It's just to hang out, apparently. I have been nerd sniped by Hermes Agent 2. Thank you so much, Mark Jumbo. Appreciate the follow. Oh, did they change their website extremely recently? Yeah, you got me. You nerd sniped me, of course. Thank you, ZB Free, for the follow. I installed Hermes as the, not OpenClaw anymore. And that has been neat to play with, but I have done almost nothing with it. Genuinely almost nothing. The thing is, I want an interface. Yeah, thank you, Ethical Hacking Indonesia. Thank you for the questions, and thank you for being here. I want the always-on AI, and this is just me personally, right? This is my selfish thing. We all want our Jarvis. And with this, I should probably start to spin down. We barely did nothing today, but we at least got us in motion to hopefully play with the Sysmon build-out tool and have Claude Code start to create real cybersecurity utilities for us. Some of the AI cyber defense ops capabilities. I'm going to have to spin down so I have a little bit of time to recuperate before the next meeting marathon. Noctamine, thank you for the follow. Yeah. Hermes for specific items that would benefit from iteration, and then OpenClaw to run your team of agents. I feel like Hermes can still do multi-agent stuff, right? Like you could have multiple iterations running. I was looking, because I set up Hermes. I just got it installed the other night. And then I was like, I don't want to talk to this via Telegram or Slack or Discord. I feel those are annoying and stupid because it's still just then a chat bot. I don't want just a chat bot. I think there needs to be some fundamental change to the way that we kind of have AI being an active thing alongside you. And maybe this is weird. Maybe this is my soapbox. You know me. Speaking of being sidetracked, thoughts on Mem Palace? I saw it happen. I didn't look into it yet. Let me get back to my point. I think the way that Codex, the way that Claude Desktop, the way that the multi-agent orchestration AI harnesses create different folders for projects for what you are trying to work on in a coding sense is cool and neat and good. And with that, you can multitask. With that, you have a feed of work that you're getting done, right? Left sidebar and then prompting chat to interact with it as you want to. But you, as human being, you as person, need to then speak your desires into chatbot as a transactional chat. Like you literally prompt it to start a new turn. I think it would be neat if and when turns are automatically started based off of some event-driven trigger. Hey, you actually got an email. Hey, you actually got a message. Hey, someone pinged you. Hey, there's some new idea that's out and about. A new threat report article has already hit the streets. Something happened, and then AI says, oh, let me triage that and go through it for you, and then bubble up and create its own new little task bubble and chat for having something already assessed, analyzed, and then presented to you with like a single ask user question. Hey, do you want to do this thing or not? And that would be really neat because then it's like, look, I have not just a feed, click, drop down left-hand side of code that I'm working on, but like stuff that keeps pulling me in many different directions. Because I have, there's no better way to say this, like I so struggle with context switching because of, work doing 3 different things, 4 different things, 5 different things at one time. And if something messages me or pings me and like, oh, I need the triage, I need to understand and put that one way or another. Matthew McDonald, don't let them turn you into a puppet, John. I appreciate that. But I want to be able to see it, is what I'm getting at. I want to be able to be human in the lead. There it is again. And I want it to bubble up. So Hermes UI was hackable to the point that, hey, I could just have AI start its own turn or chat or any file system change, any event-driven thing, any schedule, any autonomous, any long-running after-hours sleep time effort. That could be cool. And because that's open source, I could manipulate the interface in that way. But imagine, sure, you have a button on your mouse and keyboard that lets you on demand trigger, hey, here's a quick chat, here's my whisper flow activation, so that as you're just naturally doing what you do, you as the functional user of your own computer, already are trying to accomplish, you could just have AI be a little buddy, little walking alongside you, and the notifications pop up surrounding your mouse cursor. Like just as, oh, the little arrow that's on your screen, that can be the indicator like, hey, I got something done, or hey, I got a new idea, or hey, I'm thinking on this thing, or hey, I found RCE. Like that feels like a new way to make I feel more alive and apparent. Rather than you have to give it your thoughts via the chat turn. And maybe this is like a weird, Windows recall. I know privacy concern shenanigans and spooky scary. But like, the context of everything you do could let AI in a certain kind of way see the future, or at least know and better read your mind than you trying to articulate it into a prompt. I don't know. Maybe everybody hates that idea. That's just an idea that I had. That's the thing. Yeah, it would need to be like your own local setup, not baked in any frontier lab or any big company spying on you. But I thought Hermes would be kind of neat because that is then the always on AI to a certain extent, even though you just hook it up to some gateway API, but then you could trigger whatever you want and it could bubble up and create a new folder and create a new project and create a new task and actually see it. Anyway. Dude, we've been all over the map on this live stream. We talked about Glasswing, we talked about Mythos. And that's kind of, when the Claude Code leak happened, what I think Kairos was supposed to be. Claude Code Kairos. Some of these sound neat. Virtual assistant buddy? Oh no, I said the real thing when I didn't even mean to. Yeah, don't miss my meeting. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'm good on time. We did lose music though. Yeah, I got a little bit of time. I'm good. But I will start to spin this thing down. I just wanted to get across that idea. Maybe you got some gears turning for you. Thank you, Zibby. Appreciate the subscription. You're the best. If this Kairos idea were to ever come to life, I think that would be cool. Because it is proactive AI. Air quotes. And they dream overnight to scan today's transcript. Some of them are strange. What? What's happening? I'm reading through this undercover and cat buddy thing. Let me pivot to front camera and we'll wind this thing down with a couple of questions that I see you asking. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Albert Clownstein says, hey, have you ever thought about using something like Qwen Code since it's open source, then build off it to create what you want? That way you can control the sandbox behavior for more features. I played with some of the local models on my Framework desktop, which was cool, but I'm acknowledging the Framework desktop is not going to have the wild, rampant GPU stuff. I don't know if I need to get a Spark or, God forbid, a Mac Mini. I was looking at hardware to be able to do that. I have not pulled the trigger. And when I played with Qwen Code, which was some time ago, when I played with Qwen for a local model, I have not played with Gemma 4. Is Codex open source actually, though, Wakanda? You're nerd sniping me. When I played with local models, they did not feel as smart as a Frontier Lab model. And that, again, is just total muscle and feel. That is totally like, oh, off-the-cuff first impressions. Didn't give it as much more love as I totally should have. But I think there, and I know, right, especially people behind Hermes and new research and the folks that are talking about this, is that in all reality, you do not need a absolute top-of-the-line Claude Mythos version bajillion or Opus 4.27 to be your daily driver. We got to our jazz song. That was my outro. But whatever it might be, that helps you distill down to anything that could be a local model that could save some more of that time, that could save some more of that resource, token usage, and local-only thoughts. So I haven't played with that yet. Any more than I should have, but I should. But we are getting to about that time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for, again, letting me keep it casual, pretty real, pretty goofy, pretty fun. Thank you for letting me waffle around with a pretty lukewarm take on Claude Mythos and Project Glasswing. I'm optimistic. I'm glass half full. I think good defense is good things. But yeah, we'll spin this thing down. I hope you all are feeling that way just as well. And don't let the sensationalism, hype, shenanigans, take it seriously. But don't let it, like, ruin your headspace. Great to see everybody. Hopefully we do a little bit more of these. Tell your robots that I said hi. Just prompt Claude right now. Be like, hey, John Hammond said hi. See what he says. Send it back. Let me know. Next live stream, y'all gotta tell me, what did ChatGPT, what did Claude, what did Kimmy, what did Gemma, what did they all say to you when you said that John Hammond on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter said, he says hi. Thank you, everybody. This was a lot of fun. Take care. Meeting Marathon. I'll see you later.